Welcome back to another episode of Sound Good Radio. My name is Big Nee.
And I'm your host, Shriver.
And we're here today with another episode of Sounds Good Radio. We're going to open it up with this week's first segment. We're going to start with Don't Piss Me Off. Do you want to go or do you want to go
yours
first?
is first on the list,
Is
so
it?
please, yes, go ahead. Absolutely. We love a good Don't Piss Me Off.
My number one thing is commercials. I hate them. I have gotten so spoiled by the streaming services and the no commercials that now the even thought of a commercial just repulses me. We were watching something the other day. We were watching Drewski, but we were also watching something just like on regular TV. I have Hulu Live or something like that.
Oh, it was Drag Race.
And something. Either way, whatever it is, why is there a commercial in the middle of it?
Yeah.
I literally pay for no ads.
Yeah.
Why is there an ad?
That's
2 minutes
what's so frustrating is like you pay for the top premium best package and you still have to watch commercials.
Like, yeah. 4 minutes?
Like, yeah. That's what's insane.
Don't
a little 15-second I could muster, but a full 4 minute. We didn't even have 4-minute commercial breaks on regular cable.
I can't even muster any commercial. It immediately infuriates me. Like once my show cuts in the middle and it's something, I'm mad.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll just turn it off.
So I feel the same way because I'm a big Pandora listener, but I refuse to pay for Pandora. I refuse. It's free internet radio. I'm not paying just to not listen to commercials. So my little get back is as soon as the commercial comes on, I mute it.
Yeah, that's why
I refuse to listen.
That's one of the main reasons why I'm primarily an Apple Music gal. Because I can't, even with Spotify, and I just don't want to pay for Spotify either. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's the quickest way to kill my vibe.
I have Apple Music and pay for it, but I never go through I never take the time to curate a playlist. Like I have plenty, don't get me wrong, but like as far as updating them with new music, and stuff like that, I
don't
just can't be bothered.
Playlists. I literally have the same playlists from 2020.
Right.
I jam out every single time.
Yeah.
The most newness that I'm gonna get if I just put my songs and just put them on shuffle. But I like a playlist. I have the same playlist that I have a go-to playlist and I've been rocking out to it for
Have
years.
you listened to the Galentine's playlist? Did I add you to it?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
I have.
It's fire.
Yes.
Because it's like our college era music and chef's kiss. It's really good.
Yes.
Okay, don't piss me off for me. This is random. But I hate when people's like if you're wearing jeans or any type of pant that has a pocket, I can't stand an untucked pocket. Like when people don't take the time to push the pocket in, that irks my nerves so bad.
I've never been able to do that. My grandma said it means that you'll never get money if you let your pockets stay out like that.
Yeah,
it's
tuck them in.
Sign.
You just look unkempt.
It's kind of like don't put your purse on the ground; it'll make you broke. So.
Oh, see, I just thought it would make it dirty. I hadn't heard it make it broke. But I don't carry a purse anymore anyway, so. Okay, you had the next one, I think.
What's mine? Waiting. Again, we're going to circle back. I just don't like anytime I go anywhere and if there's a long wait, I will leave. If I'm at the gas station and all the pumps are full, I will literally run out of gas.
Yes, I've literally been in the car with her and we will pass 15 gas stations, but because they all look busy, she won't stop at one. And sometimes I want to grab that wheel and say, just get the gas.
And please don't let it be a whole bunch of YNs outside. I'm definitely riding by no, I'm going home.
I'll
get gas in the morning when the hard workers are getting gas.
Right. Speaking of, I need to get gas.
I'm very impatient.
I haven't got gas in a month.
I just had to get gas
because I ain't been going
the other
nowhere.
day, and it was when did I go? I don't remember.
Yeah.
But I did.
Yeah. Okay, you have the rest of them.
Do I?
Yeah.
I put people that talk but are not saying anything. Get to the point. Like people that literally just take a long time to get to the point. Just very drawn out, very wordy. Like, get to the point. Like, let's get to the meat and potatoes of it. Like, all this other stuff, like, get down to it and let's cut it out. Like, what are you trying to say to me so I can respond and you can get the fuck out of my face?
Yeah, I can agree with that. Like, I love a good story to be told, but if it calls for that. If you're
Correct.
just adding in all this, like, I don't need to know all the extra
Correct.
details. Just tell me the
Correct.
plot of the story.
Correct.
What is it that you need to say? I totally understand
Yes.
that. Uh, okay.
Shut the fuck up.
And you had one more on
Oh, I
there.
got another one.
Yeah, you said when you're trying to think of a word but can't find it.
Yes. My mind is always racing, so I have a hard time like pinning stuff down. So I will be trying to find a word, and I'll be like, "What's that word? Ooh, I was trying to say. Oh, I can't think of it." But what really gets that makes me mad. But also like when I'm trying to like get somebody to help me find the word, and they're like, "I don't know. You don't know. Like, come on, I'm giving you context clues. Come on, what words fit it? Fill in the blanks. Like, golly,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
like today when I got here and I saw your makeup, I was like, "Oh, you look so glowy." And then like 10 minutes later, I was like, "Dewy." Dewy's the word that I was going for, but it's the best I got.
I like glowy.
You look beautiful either
Thank
way,
you.
whatever you are.
Okay, so that's all we had for Don't Piss Me Off.
Okay.
So on this episode, we kind of wanted to talk about work in the sense of like our first jobs, learning about financial literacy, all the jobs that we've had, and just kind of touch on stuff like that. So my first job, I was 14 years old, and I was in high school, obviously. And I kind of just wanted my own money. And my mom was encouraging me to learn, how to manage my own money, how, and knowing that I wanted to have a car and I needed to be prepared for how to manage my finances. We decided I should go get a job. So I got a job at a little hole in the wall pizza place. I don't honestly, being 14, I don't even think I was legally allowed to work. But I was technically a server. So I was only making $2.15 an hour. And then of course I got tips. But I was only working there maybe like 2 nights a week during the school week because I was also cheerleading. So between practice and games and football season and basketball season, there wasn't a lot of days that I could work, and it wasn't like it was a super big busy place anyway. And because I was 14 and I wasn't driving that yet, it was within walking distance of the high school, so I could literally just walk there on the days we didn't have practice. I would walk to work. Um, no, the one by the pool.
I thought that's what that was.
No, Gondolier was on the other side of town.
No, that's where they moved it. I know what you're talking about. I can't think of the name.
So yeah, I honestly I liked the job. It was pretty slow most of the time. So I was the server, but I was also the cashier. So like I kind of sat behind the cash register until a customer came in. I would tell them, you can sit wherever you want. I would take their order, and then I would just walk the ticket back to the cooks. There was like two cooks back there, I think. I'd get them their drinks, and it was very easy. There was only a couple times where I had like maybe 4 or 5 tables, and I felt so overwhelmed and stuff like that. But typically, the boss man would come out if we were busy, and he'd come out and kind of help and stuff.
Good.
But a funny story. So the people that I worked for were Arab, and they were Muslim. So I would see them do like prayers. So that was kind of like my first introduction into that culture. So they had their prayer rugs, and I would see them like they would be back in the back cooking. And when it got to the time that it was time for them to pray, they would literally roll that rug out, do their prayers. And so that was cool, being young, to be able to see that. But so we had this like back behind the walk-in freezer and the dry store room. There was like another little hallway that led to a different part of the restaurant that I hadn't really been into. Someone came in and was looking for the boss man, so I had to walk back there to go find him. And me being young and naive and not knowing anything, so I go to the room that they were in, and they were smoking. What I didn't know that I do know now is they were just smoking hookah. But I remember thinking, man, that smells really good. It was like strawberry flavored or something. But I think they like didn't want me to see that they were doing that because they like hurried up and closed the door.
Against a lot of smoke inside of a building.
Probably. So, but that was just like a little funny story of like my first introduction into other cultures and, their stuff that they do. So
I love that.
that was my first job.
Never
It didn't
mind.
last long.
Okay.
I don't think I was even there a full year, just because I think it just got to be too much with
Yeah.
cheerleading. So,
Love that.
what about you? What was your first
My
job?
first job was Burger King. Everybody at this time, all my friends, most of my friends had cell phones by this time, and my mom was like, "You're not getting a phone unless you can pay for it." So I got a job. Burger King was in walking distance of the house. I knew I couldn't depend on nobody for a ride because Mama was usually at work by the time I got home. My grandparents are old people, and I knew if worst comes to worst, of course, if I could get a ride, I could get a ride. But if worst comes to worst, I could
Walker.
use Ben and Jerry and get them down. So
Yeah.
my first job was Burger King. I worked the cash register. They put me in the window and I got it popping. I think they thought that it would probably like embarrass me of like being in the window and like seeing people that I knew, but I got tickled. Like once the people that knew me knew that I was there, they literally just like be in the drive through like, Angelique, let me get out the drive through. Let me get a little fried Angelique. No, get gone on. But yeah,
I'm tickled.
And I got fired from there on my off day.
So how old were you when you
15.
started? 15. Okay.
15.
So I think we had just started to be friends because I don't remember you working there. I don't know if we were friends when you worked at Burger King because I don't think we met till we were 16.
Okay.
But either way. So after I left the pizza place, I went to work at another restaurant that served soup. It was called a soup kitchen, but it wasn't like a soup kitchen where you think of like feeding the homeless and stuff like that. It was an actual restaurant. Um, Again, by this time I was driving, and I needed to pay for my own gas and my car insurance. So my mom bought me a car. I was blessed enough for her to be able to do that. Mm-hmm. But my end of the deal was I pay for my car insurance and I pay for the gas to drive around. So I got a job at the soup kitchen. By this time, I guess it was junior year, so I was 16. And again, still cheerleading, so I could only work there the days we didn't have practice, we didn't have games. And I would just go after school. I think they closed around like 8, so it wasn't, I wasn't out super late, but that was one. Really, honestly, I've loved all my jobs, like especially just like the easy jobs, like looking back, how much fun we had. So there was a lot of classmates that worked there with me. Some of like upperclassmen worked there. And we just, oh my God. So the soup kitchen reminds me of the song Miss New Booty, because it came out and we would blast that song on the radio. Just, random little fact. But the only thing I did not like about the job is the way I smelled when I left. Like that, just the food smell, just like grease. I always felt like I smelled like greasy tomatoes.
I don't know.
And I couldn't stand
that place never like appealed to me. I'm not a soup girl. I don't understand I don't understand the just soup in general. Like drink it.
Yeah, you're not a big soup person. I love
spoon
soup.
it out with.
Yeah. Like, there was one time, so they have like a hot steam table that all the soups are in. And in order to not like, when you're holding the bowl, like you can't have your finger in it, obviously, because you don't want to put your finger in someone's food and whatever. So you have to like hold it this way. Well, one day I got too big of a scoop, and when I poured it, it overflowed, piping hot soup all on my hand. So I'm like, and then I can't drop it because then if I drop it, it goes into the cauldron of soup. Oh my God, it hurt. So I literally just, as fast as I could, put it up on the thing and then just went and it was like in the middle of the rush and I didn't even have time to, it was awful. Child labor law. Literally. Done. It was bad.
I'm going to the house. Take me to the emergency room.
Yeah.
Now.
It hurt so bad. But we had so much fun. It was a good job. What about you? What was your next job after BK?
Next job was a grocery store.
Okay.
I ran the register.
Listen, I love tapping that screen.
I ran the register and, I think I was there for quite some time. One of my homegirls was working. I had like a couple of homegirls there that worked. One was like did the buggies, and like two of us did the cash register, and then of course I had a couple classmates like, oh, you're in my class. But yeah, I worked up down to the grocery store, honey. Caught a guy stealing steaks one time, and then like a month later they called me and were like, you have to come testify in court for what you seen.
For petty theft.
I quit.
Yeah, absolutely.
He had like
I'm a child.
5 steaks in his pants, and I called him. Me being observant. Girl, I should just shut the fuck up and just keep on going.
You're a minor. How could you go testify?
Exactly. Like, what am I doing? I really think my manager was trying to was like fucking with me. She was such a weird ass bitch. Anyways,
that's neither here nor there. Any other funny stories from the grocery store?
Not that I can think of.
No.
But the job that really made me was Kmart.
Ooh.
Kmart was my store, and Kmart, I ran the register as well, but I also would do like stocking and stuff. But that was probably one of my favorite jobs. Like, we still had the blue light special. Nicki Minaj clothing line was out. I don't know. I loved it. And they used to, one of my fondest memories, they used to literally play Lucky by Britney Spears over the radio, and I would literally be in there like stocking up clothes, putting clothes in place, like, and she cry in her lonely heart,
in your own music video.
If there's nothing missing it. Oh, living the dream. What really made me was Black Friday. Oh, it's either you gonna either rise to the occasion, baby. Up there, working in registers. They used to try to scam me because I was young. They would like get in my line and try to give me like $100 bills. Let me get my pen.
Get that marker
or try
out.
to like fuck me up with the change.
Honey.
Let me get a manager over here. You won't get me.
Honey.
But yeah,
because if there's one thing about it, that drawer, if it's not right at the end of your shift, it's coming out your check.
And baby, she don't steal. That also was the day not the day, but the place where I got into my what do I want to call Fuse? My Fuse drinks, or were they Sobeys?
Probably Sobeys.
Oh, there was a strawberry one. Shake that bad boy up.
Yeah.
Kmart was a good time. One of my favorite jobs.
And then, so after the soup kitchen, I started working at the movie theater in town. And the movie theater was probably my all-time favorite job. I got that job because of Mikey. Shout out to Mikey. And so the hierarchy of the movie theaters, if you don't know, everybody has to start out in concessions because that's where nobody wants to be. So I started out in concessions, and because I was so quick and good on the register, my manager moved me to box office. And box office is where everybody wants to be because you get to sit down, you get to be in the air conditioning, you ain't got to be dealing with popcorn and soda and all that nasty stuff. You literally just ring up tickets, and back then everything was even, like everything was, what's the word I'm looking for? Intervals, currency, whatever. Everything was 25, 75, or 50. So it was very easy to give change.
So you're just using quarters.
Yeah, literally. And I love quarters. That started my love of quarters. But it was just, I loved working the register in the box office. I love being in box office. I had my little get up on, and I was cute. Whereas in concessions, I had to wear the freaking hat, and I had hat hair, and you stink and you smell. And I also have a battle wound. From concessions. So I worked at the movie theater when movies were still big, and like the releases, midnight showings, they were very, very big. Twilight, the Twilight crowd.
Even in a small town.
Because we were the only movie theater within probably like a 30-mile radius for all the other small surrounding towns. So it was in the middle of it's me getting burned with things at work. Jesus. In the middle of a rush, the popper was popping a new batch of popcorn, but you're having to still open the door and get in there and scoop popcorn. Well, sure enough, lo and behold, a freaking kernel flies out and lands.
Really?
That's where the scar's from.
Oh Lord, the more you know.
So we had a collared shirt. Of course, it found the little hole in my collar, and it went. And because my hands are full, I thought it just went down, and I didn't want it to go down in my bra, obviously, but either way, it stuck right there and burned me. So I had a burn that then turned into a keloid.
A little cherry.
And my mama was just devastated. She was like, "Oh my God, you're gonna have this keloid on your wedding day." Joke's on you, mama. I'm 33 and still not married. But
I'm surprised she didn't put. Never mind.
We ended up going to a plastic surgeon to get a keloid, or not keloid, get a Kenalog injection. Kenalog is used now that I work in surgery. Know this. Kenalog is used for scar revisions, keloids, and luckily it took it away, and
you can't
see
tell
it.
it's there.
But it was like a bump.
Yeah.
You can kind of see the remnants of it, but she was devastated.
Yeah.
So then, transitioning from box office, you could also work now as an usher. So this was before the tickets on your phone. You actually had the ticket stubs, which I also love that. I love when the ticket came out of the and rip it off. Oh, loved it. Satisfying. Okay. ASMR days. So working at the podium. So there was different types of ushers. You could work at the podium, or you were the usher actually having to clean and sweep popcorn and clean theaters in between. Obviously, you want to work at the podium because all you do is rip tickets all night. So as far as which I liked doing the best, I loved working box office, then usher, then concession. But then something a lot of people don't know about, there's something called changeover. And changeover happened on Thursday nights, obviously, because movies get released on Fridays.
Okay.
So Thursday night was changeover. So if you were an usher, you got put on changeover. So you were working kind of the later shift. And you got to switch out all the movie posters outside of each theater. There was also a marquee above the usher podium that you got to get on a genie. A genie is one of those little...
I don't know if I'd be kind of nervous about that.
Well, again, child labor laws probably shouldn't have been up there. But you got to ride up on that, open the thing, switch out all and put the new ones up. And then you got to go outside. So outside of our theater, it was probably 3 stories tall. Ooh. A huge marquee that had the like when you see outside of like a fast food restaurant, the letters and stuff. So we had to go out there and put the new movies up, change them up, letter by letter,
Gag.
On the genie. And honestly, like, I'm kind of afraid of heights. I don't know how my butt was up there doing it, but I was doing it and I loved it.
Outside,
right? I got to do something different. And again, it was one of those like people would drive by and see you wave at them. It was fun, though. God, it was fun. And then another side of the movie theaters that not a lot of people know about, and this was before digital film, was you worked up in the booth. So in the booth, you actually had huge, I'm talking like dining room table size spools of film. And for big, long feature films, it would be like 3 of them. Literally showing my age. So it would be like 3 tiers high. So Mikey worked up there, and another guy named Keener. Shout out to you, Keener, because I think he is still working at that movie theater.
Shout out to you.
But so this was back when they would send in individual trailers, and each trailer was on a reel of film, and the people that worked in the booth actually spliced those together to make the trailer packs that you see before a movie. So you have, let's say, 5 to 6 different movies, trailers, and you have to splice all of them together to make a 15-minute trailer pack before. So I never worked up in the booth, but I would go up with Mikey and just like watch what he would do. It was very cool and like technical, like to know that like it's just your average everyday person that's doing this. Now, while I was working there, we started transitioning to digital. Okay. So we got our first like 2 digital projectors. And so I think now they have fully phased out of hard paper reel films and everything is digital. So like it's really cool to have been able to see that, and then to also see the transition to digital.
I think that's the good thing about being born or growing up in the generation that we are, because we're on the cusp of the new technology. I feel like we got to experience everything like when they were still in their analog state.
Yes.
And then being able to really transition with the world with everything that is the internet and social media and things of
Mm-hmm.
that nature. So you literally got to see the film rolls, how big they were. Like I never even thought about it. I always thought they were like the little small things, that you see in the movie.
Huge.
So like putting that into
Probably
perspective,
like,
yeah,
I'd say like 6 feet
yeah,
across on like a huge platter, 6 feet across, probably this thick. With it was,
yeah.
oh my god,
So
so
like when
cool.
you think of old timey movies, you think of it spinning on the
Mm-hmm.
reel, and then literally you were there for the
Yeah,
transition
yeah. So this
to
was the
the
year,
digital.
because y'all already know how old I am. This was the year, I think it was right at either 2008,
Mm-hmm.
2009 is
Mm-hmm.
when they started transitioning to all digital.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and now, like I said, now everything is
Yes.
digital.
Yes.
So it's just, I love that job. I, to this day, like I swear I would go back and work.
Mm-hmm.
Just put me but they don't even have box office now because everything's on your
Yeah,
phone.
you can just order
You
online.
do. I mean, I don't even. I think you can get tickets at the theater, but it's typically at a kiosk.
Yeah.
Um, it was so fun. And oh, the perks of working at the movie theater. So you got 2 free tickets every day. You obviously couldn't go on days that you're during your shift, and you could go after your shift or before your shift to watch a movie. You could also give those like to your a family member.
Mm-hmm.
So like my mom, she never paid for movies because
Mm-hmm.
she could come and see them. And then as far as, now this is gonna piss y'all off. So as far as drinks and popcorns, which we know is the most expensive thing at the movie theaters, and I'll let you know on a little secret, you're not paying for the actual Coke or the actual popcorn. That shit is dirt cheap, obviously, because it's a huge box of
Obviously.
syrup that you hook up to the carbonator. You're paying for the cup, and the cup is advertisement. That's how these movie theaters make their money. They don't make money on box office sales. That goes to the movie
Mm-hmm.
production. The only thing that they make money on is
Concessions.
concessions. So, being there, as long as you brought in your own cup and your own container, you could also get free soda and free popcorn, even when you weren't working. Well, you probably weren't supposed to do that, but you knew everybody that worked there, and you'd be like, "Hey, fill this cup up."
Count your days.
Yeah,
Movie theaters.
yeah. So, because
That's why I stream now.
a lot of I wanted to be a manager there. Vic also started working at the movie theater, and he
Oh,
became
I
a
remember that.
manager. I wanted to be a manager, but I think I just, because I was in college by this time, I didn't have the time to work 40
Mm-hmm.
hours a week. Um, but so the managers were in charge of like inventory and stock and ordering all that stuff. So I came to find out that a huge, like, what is it, 15-pound bag of popcorn kernels literally cost like 75 cents.
Oh, they were getting over.
Oh, they're getting,
They were having
yeah.
their way.
Yeah. Which honestly, maybe the karma is now
Just
movie theaters really aren't a thing
nobody's
anymore
going to the movies anymore.
because everything is a streaming service. So yeah, that was one of my favorite jobs. Most favorite.
After I feel like I had a period. I'm guessing after I stopped working at Kmart, I guess I was done because I can't think of anything else after that until I worked at a call center.
Well, yeah, because you went off to school and
Yes.
you weren't working then,
Mm-hmm.
and then you came back.
And I worked at a call center, and we did technical support for a cable company. Um, and I think that might have been one of my favorite jobs too because, I mean, I'm a talker. I can talk to anybody. Um, and now it's beneficial to me because if my cable, well, when I had cable, or if my internet is acting up, I know exactly what to do because I did it so many times on the phone, which I was meemaws and peepaws.
You are a very good troubleshooter.
Yes, because I had to do it, and that was my profession. And
Yeah.
then they used to be like, what I loved the most was like outside companies would come in and like bring us food. So I used to love that. Like
I would come
yes,
and visit you on your
yes.
breaks because you were back in town.
Mhm.
I was in town in college or whatever, and like on my days off, if she had a break, I would literally just like pull up on
Yes.
her on her lunch break.
Yes,
And we'd hang out.
we had a time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was probably one of my favorite jobs. And then
Did you get to wear the headset? Like
Yes.
with the little
I had
with
a
the mic?
headset. I had a script, call times.
Did
and
you get to type on your
Oh,
computer?
yeah. It's down. Okay.
Yeah. That
Did
would
well.
be fun.
And then I left and went back to school, and I got a job at a pizza place in the mall.
I always forget about that.
That was a traumatic time in my life, but I was just trying to live. Um, and
Was this
I
out there or here?
out there.
Okay, yeah.
And I burned myself putting pizza into the stove, so I have literally a permanent burn mark.
Is that what that's
Yes.
from?
Oops, sorry.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Burnt myself up, and
well,
I have a permanent scar.
2 peas in a pod here.
She's a burn victim. So did that. That was hard work, but I met some good people in the process of that.
Yeah.
Just working in the mall, like especially like in the food court, that was just an experience in general. But you know,
and this was back when shopping in the malls was still
like
a big thing.
Like
you said,
shopping.
Black Friday.
Yes.
Weekends.
Like that's when you were anteing up and getting ready. And like when you got to rush. That's when like teamwork really like meant business. Because we had like a specific 2 people that did like made the pizzas. And then you had us that were like pulling the pizzas. And then you had cashiers.
Yeah.
I think I was most of the time pulling the pizza or running the cash register. You know, again.
Right.
It's just a register, girl.
Right.
Also, I can't follow that many instructions. But we thrived. And then my job, after I left Sbarro, I ended up getting a job at a clothing store called Charlotte Russe. I don't even know if they're still open anymore.
No, but
Charlotte Russe. Charlotte Russe held me down because I even moved somewhere and they transferred with me. So like they held it down. They kept your girl fed. Okay.
Charlotte Russe, listen.
Yes. And I had discounts.
Oh, that was the Forget a Forever 21. Charlotte Russe, that was the girl. 2 for $20 jeans.
The jewelry.
$2 flip flops.
The shoes.
Don't piss me off.
Baby. Charlotte Russe was that girl. And I stayed. Girl, sometimes I'll be looking at some of my pictures. I'm like, look at me in my little Charlotte Russe.
Yes.
Well, look at me in the Charlotte Russe dining room.
Sometimes I creep like 10 years back on your Instagram.
Yeah.
And I see all your little outfits. I said, my girl was dressed.
Honey,
she was dressed. So that reminds me, I didn't write this down because I forgot about it. I worked at Victoria's Secret.
Ooh,
I worked at Victoria's Secret in college just for a holiday season. Your girl needed some extra cash, needed some extra money. So I think at this point, I was working 3 jobs. Just for nothing. It still wasn't bringing home $300 a week. But yeah, so I got a holiday job at Victoria's Secret. It was a love-hate. Loved working the cash register. Put me on the cash register all day. Do not put me on the floor. I'm not trying to talk to nobody. I'm not trying to hand out samples and spray people all day long. And I'm damn sure not trying to spend 8 hours folding fucking panties.
Y'all. How can you even fold panties? Somebody talk.
Oh, you can. You can. And you sit there and at the end of your shift, you had to put the circle tables that they had all the panties in color coded and lined up and making them picture perfect just for them to open right back up in the morning. Hold on, y'all. She's got a hair.
Thank you.
Just for them to open up in the morning and y'all heathens come in there and run them. Don't put me on, and because for me it was just like, what's the point? It's gonna get run. I hated it, but that register, baby, because we had our little headset. We had a little headset, and you could hear people talking all over the store. And put me on a cash register.
In a store and they have the little.
We talking shit about you. We are talking shit about you.
We are.
Girl, I will never forget. So,
we used to tear them up.
Did you ever deal with shoplifters?
Yes.
So you'd be at the register ringing. How you doing? Ringing people up, and in your ear, you need to check out so and so on the back of here. They got this, that, and so I'm trying to like keep a straight face, but I'm also trying to see who's stealing and trying to ring everybody up. Girl, we had some people come in. There were some bandits. They were coming in and stealing them panties. And it was, like I said, I was working the holiday season, so it was, oh my God, it was awful.
The way they would try it at Charlotte Russe was the shoes. First of all, Charlotte Russe had, like, uncomfortable shoes. But the shoes, I think they were like 2 for $49 or something like that. So they would come in, and this is how they get you. They'll have you bring out, like, 8 million different pairs. I want this in this color and this color and this size, and you come out with 6 shoes, and then somebody else will come in and bombard you and want 6 shoes, and by the time you're entertaining them, this person has either swapped out the shoes or just slid on out. So we used to always be like, watch this one, watch this one.
Did y'all have the security tags?
Yes.
I loved. They could be a son of a bitch. But I love putting them in that little thing and it.
Hate it. By that time, I was done. I was peopled out.
Yeah. I hated
Um,
having to upsell or
yeah.
suggest the credit cards and
I was in the hood by then. I was so tired
yeah.
of ringing you heifers up. So I just wanted to be back in the shoes. And I don't even care if you're stealing. I'll get all 85 sizes of these damn shoes for you as long as I don't have to go to the front and interact with anybody.
Yeah. And then
I
so
also enjoyed setting up. Once we switched over to different collections,
mhm.
you would have to dress the mannequins and set them
Oh
up. I actually
yeah.
like that. I actually they would
Oh,
give
that
you
was
like a
cute.
picture of like it was like a picture of how it's supposed to look and
Yeah.
like what clothes they were supposed to go wear. I enjoyed that.
Yeah. Um I lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
It's okay. Oh, so how I this is like the only job I've ever just like flat out quit. Was Victoria's Secret because they put me on the schedule for I think it was Christmas Day. They were open on
Mm-hmm.
Christmas Day, and I had got strep throat.
Mm-hmm.
And I called my manager. I said, "Girl, I got strep throat."
Mm-hmm.
I don't know I had strep throat, but I knew I wasn't working on Christmas or
Mm-hmm.
Christmas Eve, and they basically expected me to come anyway. Girl, the way I never showed up and never heard from them again. Because I only had like a week left
Yeah.
because it was literally just for the holiday season. I said, bye.
Charlie Ruth held me down for quite some time, and then I ended up while I was in because Charlotte Ruth was full time, and I guess I don't think I wanted to work in the mall when I came back here. I ended up working at another place that did medical billing, and I
Mm-hmm.
did that while I was in school until I finished. So I think schools were 7 to 3 or 7 to 2:30, and I think it was 7 to 3, and I had to get to work by 4, and I would work from 4 to 8,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what I did. So I would go to school 7 to 3, and then drive mosey on down the interstate, get to work 3 to 8. I would work weekends. The weekends I would actually like work a full shift. I don't remember the
Mm-hmm.
hours, 9 to 5. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then, but if I was off, I have an area of the weekend. So if I got out of school at 3 on a Friday, and
Mm-hmm.
then I would go to work from 4 to 8. First of all, my car was already packed. That's when I was in my road running era. That's when I
Mm-hmm.
was gone. Do you hear me?
Yeah. Oh gosh. And you
She'll
know,
take a trip fast.
it makes you think of like how we had such a good time
Yes, with
with
literally nothing.
so little.
Nothing at
Like
all.
I know we're sitting here talking about all the jobs we work, but y'all have to remember, and it still is minimum wage. We were making like $7.25 an hour, working part-time hours
Yes. Yes.
and paying bills.
Mm-hmm.
So we had little to nothing left
Mm-hmm.
over. On top of going to school full time, working
Mm-hmm.
part time, paying bills, like
Mm-hmm.
I was lucky if I had $100 a month
Mm-hmm.
to spare.
Mm-hmm.
Between feeding myself, paying my bills, putting gas in my car, like we did not have much.
No.
And it was some of the most fun,
Yes.
carefree times of my life.
To literally have $20 to your name and literally be having a ball.
Yes.
Like, the times. Like,
and the way we could make money stretch.
it was easy to make a stretch because one thing, we lived off of the McDonald's dollar menu when it was actually $1.
Don't get me started on the Taco Bell, 79, 89, 99.
Baby, let me tell you, I lived off of 2 McDoubles, a medium fry, and a large sweet tea.
For $4.16. Now, ring it up. See how much it
No,
is.
I don't even
Because it's
myself
going to piss
off.
me off. That's the thing is like, obviously I wasn't eating as much. I think I probably was eating one meal a day. Truly. I'm saying then, not now. Because we couldn't afford it. But I'll tell you what, I never went without. I was okay. I had a roof over my head. I was fed for the most part. And I had a ball. An absolute ball. So I wanted to say while she's looking up these prices, just to give you an idea of how fucked it is that in the year 2025, the federal minimum wage is still $7.25. When I started working at the movie theater, I think the year was, we're going to say 2008. It was either 2007, 2008. I started out making minimum wage at $5.25 an hour. And I can remember they had a big poster up because I think this was when Bush was still in office, about the 3-year plan to raise minimum wage. And currently it was at $5.25. And then the next year it was supposed to go up to $6.50 an hour. And then the final stage was $7.25 an hour. And I remember being a teenager, being 15, 16 years old, and thinking, man, I can't wait till I'm making $7.25 an hour. And it's just laughable that now, almost 20 years later, It hasn't changed. And that's still what people are making. And how are people supposed to survive on that? Okay, did you get
Yes.
the McDonald's
Two
order?
McDoubles, a medium fry, and a large sweet tea. Is 14.03.
And it literally used to be, because I remember
So
$4.16
$10 for what?
for the exact same crappy
And the
ass
sweet
food.
tea's worse.
Worse.
Isn't I will never.
All of
I
that
will
used to be
never
$1.
ingest that.
A McDouble
Sweet
was
tea's
$1.
awful.
Sweet tea was $1, and a medium fry was about like $1.20.
We lived. We lived. I was looking at something. They were like, we also had a time because you were never really a clubber, but I was in my club era. We lived for a good free before 11.
Okay.
You get you a good free before 11. You and your girls, y'all done pregame before, if you were legal. Pregame before. Get out there, get through the door, and if you was cute enough, you was gonna get drinks anyway. Let me get a blue motherfucker, and I can, do my BBL bounce in the corner, okay, and make it on back home.
Stop, and that was the thing about it. We danced. We had
They don't do that
fun
anymore.
because
Sweaty.
this is what everybody does in the club now.
Everybody want to be
scrolling
bougie.
On their phone.
Everybody want to be cute.
Honey, my flip phone was in my back pocket, and I was shaking what little I had.
Back in my day, they used to have whole dance routines. Okay. What a time. What a time.
There was plenty of times you would be doing your little dance and turn around and think, "Who the hell are you?"
If you was cute enough, I look to my girl and see if you cute. If she gives me the go ahead, I'm gonna.
If you're not cute,
we're getting out of here.
Not that one. Not that one. Oh, we had so much fun.
When a road trip wasn't nothing. It wasn't nothing to get on the road. Now I don't even want to drive 10 minutes up the road.
Yeah, half the time we ain't even have money to put gas in the car, but we knew where we were going. They top us off and send us back on our way. A time.
Carefree.
It's now that I'm financially stable and I have a good savings account and like I can spend more freely and I can feed myself and splurge, like I find myself longing for the simplicity of like just being a kid, being carefree.
I think it's also a big factor in it is the price of everything has gone up. Like just the fact of talking about a meal.
Yeah.
These were, y'all might call them a struggle meal, but we were very much well fed.
The Kroger 10 for 10.
We wasn't hungry.
My cabinets were full.
We weren't hungry at all. But that $4 and how much?
It was like $4.16 and now
$4.16 was enough to now it being $14.60. This is why people are starving.
Yeah.
It's literally the same product, if not worse. It's probably filled with preservatives. It's probably not even meat.
The pay has not increased. Minimum wage is still the same. Yet that's almost a what? I'm not good at percentages.
$10.
Yeah, a $10 increase, but we're not making $10 more an hour. Like it's just insanity.
So the cost of things are going up, but nobody's is making a livable wage. That's the ultimate problem.
Yeah, and like when I see people now that are working fast food or working retail, like I can see why they don't care. Yeah. I can see because why would you? Why would I'm having to deal with all this crap and getting burned and smelling like food and disgruntled customers, and I'm still not even making a livable wage.
It's not even desirable.
And I know
that's why everybody wants to be an influencer,
right? And the easy thing to say is, oh well, they can go get another job. Sometimes people can't. Sometimes that's all right.
Doing the same thing?
For one,
still getting paid $7.25.
But it's like some people, I mean, you don't know anybody's situation. They could be in school. They could be, that's all they can qualify for, or that's all that they can find. Because everyone wants you to have 10 years of experience coming in is at an entry-level position, There's only so much you can do, and the system is just broken, completely broken.
I still can. I usually drive mostly gas saver cars. And maybe in the last 5 years, I've had the same car for many, many, many years, and I'm love you, baby. Please don't break down on me. But I've had my car for many, many, many years, and back in my day, here I go, $20 would fill me up and get me to the next state, okay?
Yeah.
And back.
Yeah. And still have a quarter tank.
Now, or get me from one side of the state to the other side of the state. But as soon as I open up that gas tank, she was hissing. She was hissing. But I got her filled up. Either way, but now Same car, same trip. That's a $60.
Yeah.
That's $60.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it used to be, I mean,
same trip, same car,
$20 fill you
same oil
up.
changes.
Sometimes not even $20. Sometimes
15.
15. $15 fill up your tank. Honey, you couldn't keep me off the road.
It got to the point where at one point in my life, like I don't know, like my I guess we can segue into this. Like my grandparents are really financially responsible and financially aware.
Mm-hmm.
So my granddaddy really taught me like about budgeting and being smart with my money. Do I always listen? No. But being smart with my money and paying attention to the price of things. I remember going to the grocery store and him explaining to me what the price tag meant and like the unit, how much you were getting for the unit and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember him being like, okay, well, I'm like, okay, I have to get gas. Well, how much is gas here? I, I don't know. But at one point, like, I had just stopped even caring about the price of gas because honestly, even if it's $1,000,000, I still got to put gas in my car.
It's going to be 40 on pump 7 no matter where I'm at. So,
and either it's gonna get me on full or it's not.
Right. Because now even the fuel points you get for like grocery shopping, the fuel points, they really don't amount to much. No. Not too much.
I mean, if whether gas is $2.85, $2.75, $1.75, or $5, I still gotta get it. Mm-hmm. What am I gonna do? Walk? No.
Yeah.
I'm too big for that. My knees are bad.
But no, yeah, like it's just what can you do about it other than just eat it and put the gas in your car? So yeah. One more thing I wanted to talk about since we've talked about like seeing the transition of technology and stuff is how even the way we got paid has changed. So when I first started working, I got a paper check that I had to go to the bank, deposit, either put that money in or get the cash back out. Whereas and then we saw the transition to direct deposit. Did you when you started working? I think what you said your first one was Burger King. Was that direct deposit or a check? You had to go pick up your check. Do you remember?
I don't remember. I probably had to pick up a check.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna hold you. But I also another thing with I had a bank account, like a teenage bank account at the local federal credit union.
Yeah.
So if I did, most of the time I ain't no telling. I'd probably sign my whole life away to mama damn mama. I ain't no telling, child. Sign the check and tell her go cash it, honey. I don't know. Or I'd be holding on to it until I got down to the Walmart because you know how Walmart has the banks inside. So catch her out to Walmart or mama while she's going to get groceries. I'm about to go cash my check. I need my little $40.
Yeah. Well, and another thing with cashing a check in person versus direct deposit, even when we did get direct deposit, you still had to keep up with a register to know how much money you've spent.
I've never been a register.
Well,
That's probably why I have issues in my life.
How did you know how much money you spent? I'm saying before online banking.
Before I spent, when the card says, when the card declines.
So before online banking, mobile banking apps where you can see every transaction you've made, you had to have a checkbook and a register. So your checkbook was for writing checks. And then you got a debit card. So you had your hard debit card. And your debit card is not like a credit card, whereas you can only... I got one in my file cabinet.
Mine's empty. It shows how much I use.
You could only spend how much money you had on your debit card. It wasn't like a credit card. So for you just swiped it until it said decline. And my mama taught me how to keep up with my register. So basically your online bank transactions, you had to write down yourself. So you deposited your check, you got your starting balance. Let's say it was $300. And every time I swiped that card, I spent this much. So I knew.
I feel like I had kind of like a running counter. It wasn't like it was a lot of money.
Right. I mean,
start there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, little $5, $10, $12. Yeah. It adds up. So I feel like I had a like running counter. But most of the time it was into the card decline.
Yeah. And then before online banking, I remember my bank, there was like a number you could call.
Yeah.
You could call, enter in your account number, and you could.
That was my one.
Yeah.
So before I even went into the store, I need to.
For checking, press 1. For savings, press 2.
Yeah. Your balance, yes.
Your balance is
that's the one.
negative.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or and then to transfer money, you could do it on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Transfer this much amount to. Oh God,
yes.
and
that's
it don't let you miss a button because you're gonna have to hang up and start it all over again. Mm-hmm. And then finally, online banking became a thing.
And I'm
but
still a
this
little
was
bit leery of that.
Before smartphones. You had to do it on your laptop.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Print out your bank statement.
Oh, girl, we done been through every phase, and it's just like there is such a convenience of it now.
Yeah. I mean, it's a computer in your hand.
Yeah,
That's
but I
really
just there are days where I wish I could just turn my phone off and not turn it back on for a week. Truly. But
even if I could, mine doesn't ring like that, so it'll
probably
no. Be sitting there.
I mean, it's just my mom or you, but which is not I'm not saying all that.
You want to know something else that pisses me off? When you call a person multiple times and they don't answer. It really doesn't even matter, like, if it's you or anybody, but especially if it's somebody that knows that I don't like calling multiple times. First of all, I'm a word wart. So first of all, I'm mad because why would you make me call two times in a row? And then especially if I gave you a grace period. And then number two, are you dead? Because you're never, that upsets me. So you didn't answer, you didn't send like a follow up. Most of my friends will be like, they'll know that I'm like, answer my calls. Yeah. They're just like, I'm doing something. I'll call you back. Or give me a second. Like, chill. Like, don't call 911. I'm alive. Like, so my first thing is, well, how dare you ignore me? The second is, are they dead? Have they been kidnapped? Or where's the body? So immediately, I called once. I gave it 2 seconds. I gave it like a minute before I called back again. What? No response. So then I'm like, she didn't even hit me with a follow-up text message. So, are you alive? Dead? Yeah, what's happening? You got a look mail company, a mail, what do they call it? Mail caller? Looks like something. So then she didn't respond to that one. So then I was like, let me check her location. Like, oh my God, I hope she's at home. And then I was literally getting ready to muster up the street, put my clothes on to like ride by the house because where are you at?
Okay, to be fair, there were gaps in between the phone calls. I didn't realize I had been sitting back here so long. I was trying to put my eyebrows on. And I had forgot. The one time and that's the thing, I keep my phone by me all the time. And you're spoiled in the fact that it rings once and I answer.
Hello.
And anybody that knows me, like, I answer quickly. Because I keep my phone on me. So the one time I had walked away from my phone.
I thought you were being murdered.
So, and I had my music playing too. So I'm like, I'm back here slicking my eyebrows down. And I was like, that's my phone ringing. It's all right. It's just Ajane. Like, she'll be all right.
It's just Ajane.
And then I was like... I was like, why can I still hear my phone?
I'm calling back.
I said, oh, well, she done called me 10 times. I already know it. As I'm walking in there, all I see is her picture lighting up on my phone. I said, Jesus Christ. Hello?
Are you done?
Okay, so to be fair, you called me at 1:19, and then the next call wasn't till 1:25.
I gave you time. I tried.
The next call was 1:28, and then the next call was 1:29.
That's how you know that's when you know my patience was really at its end.
And then the texts were, call me, alive, question, sleeping, question mark. And then the last one is dead, question.
What are you doing?
Because you're spoiled.
What are you doing?
You're spoiled. But I always answer the phone.
Literally for any, like, especially, like, I'll give you, like, grace if you don't know me like that. But you know who really does it, and I think they do it just to intentionally grind my gears, is my mama. I'll call, and she won't answer, and then I'll call again.
So it's a trigger for you.
Yes. I think the actual trigger is, like, feeling ignored.
Yes.
But I also am not a back-to-back caller, unless I'm, like, intentionally being annoying. But I feel like that gives bugaboo, and
you back-to-back call me, but it's when I know you're on the other line, like, bitch, I know you're doing this.
Correct.
Bitch, I know you're not answering the fucking phone. Bitch, you ain't doing shit. What?
Hello, you want to play?
What about the other night when you called me at like 1 o'clock in the morning and I was
bright-eyed and bushy-tailed?
Hello?
Like, I'm expecting like a hello.
Wide awake. Hello, what are you doing?
Like, what are you doing?
Up, bored, twiddling my toes.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Hey, this has been a long one, but this has been a good one. We've been with it. We've been talking to y'all for almost an hour, so okay. We're going to shut up and leave y'all alone, but before we do, let us send you off with our talking to the moon. So, this is a random quote I found, I think, on Pinterest, so I can't give credit because I don't know who said it.
Sorry.
But it goes a little something like this. Oh, wait. I got too much sputum in my mouth. All right, here we go. Stop. Don't look at me like that. When you fall in love with someone's petals and not their roots, you won't know what to do when autumn comes around. And I just thought that was very beautiful, in the fact that you can easily fall in love with someone, and everything that they do for you and everything that they bring to the table, everything that they make you feel, their beauty, if you will, in their spring in the petals. But when those petals fall and when nothing is left, and you see the real side to somebody and you see them for who they truly are, and they bear their all to you, um, you have to love them too. You know, you can't just love the good parts, you have to love the bad parts as well.
Unconditional love.
Yeah.
Unconditional.
So I thought that, yeah, I thought that was a really beautiful and fitting quote of, you know, love me through every season.
Yes. Love me for me.
Yeah. So that's all we got for y'all today. We appreciate you listening to us blabber on, and we hope to see you next week. Bye, y'all.
That looks dumb. Bye.
Bye.